Hello from Nashville, Tennessee, USA. This is your host, BB Flower. How are you all doing? I'll be ranting on Deceptive Creation today. It is all for the lack of better words. And in that, we must admire Yuji's communication skills. He has time and again successfully put across the fact that there is nothing so effortlessly. But we refuse to believe that, and that's okay. Yesterday, my husband and I were talking about life and how we are impacted by graha, or planets. But it is not actually planets, as explained in my astrology podcast. These are celestial bodies. And then my husband came to witness something that he shared with me, which was very hard for me to understand because I am very scientific and very human, and he's at another level. So yeah, he explained me with the help of element fire. That's how he began. And my husband has always been intrigued with fire, and although science community takes away the fun and miracle out of everything with some explanation, fire, as we call it, Agni, is something they cannot explain. No matter what they say, fire is invoked. It is the question how that science has explained. The question why goes so granular that it would end up with nothing. So back to fire, my husband was wondering, when something combusts or burns, is it always flammable? How does a tree burn, And when it does, how does its flammability changes? The flammability is how readily a substance catches fire. And so we believe an external agent lent the element fire, like an accelerant or high temperature. That's how things burn. However, no matter the change agent, the bottom line is that the tree or whatever burns, which is everything, was always flammable. And so fire doesn't destroy but changes the expression. So what is fire? It is celestial and ethereal, because all we see, all that science has explained, is its effect. We feel the heat, we can see the burn and how it appears in different color, hue, due to the temperature it is at. We see the changes happening to whatever is burning, turning it into ashes. But getting back to the original discussion I had with my husband on graha, or celestial bodies that impact our life, what my husband concluded was that you and I are not separate from these graha, yet we create the separation. The moment you say, by pointing out moon, you have established that it is not you. In knowledge or in physical form, separation is created to fit into one continuous flow of thought, and perhaps what you witness is already there in you. It expresses you on various other frequencies. We give the identity to everything. Like moon, it appears as an object to us, but the celestial entity behind the moon is not physical. It is perhaps a software that is projecting it, but it can only exist with you as a moon. Similarly, fire has a property that we interpret as it burns. But as I said, fire is invoked. There is nothing behind it. For example, the sun. Sun is a celestial entity that we can't even see with our naked eyes, but we still try to box it as something based on our knowledge. What we forget is that we can only box it as per our perception, because our nature is to separate and understand everything. The operation behind it is the abyss. The things that we don't know, we don't know. As Yuji had said, that our life is like a tiny bubble in the ocean. By the way, fire reminds me of a scientific concept, propulsion. The technology used to move a spacecraft in space also. This very technology where there is no air to be displaced. They can be propelled by different engines, and its mechanism is kind of like the spray paint can. Thrusting by the burnt exiting fuel pushes the aircraft forward. And so it is the fuel combusting in the aircraft or the spacecraft, I'm sorry. Again, fire is what we have used it to travel in space. No one except for the people actually involved know what is going on, with these spacecrafts and space missions. We can only read and look at the information provided, kind of like blind trust. No different from religious belief. Even religion has miracle sightings that, just like science has practical experiments in labs for the students at a smaller scale. It's no different. So this space exploration is not going to give a different picture of what is being expressed by us from here on Earth. It is, again, our perception. We are incapable of understanding anything outside of our sphere of thought, which boxes everything. Anyway, let's take the element water. When we talk of water as an element, it is not H2O or D2O. D2O is the hard water. It is not the fluid itself that could change its appearance with the change in temperature. The elemental essence is that which is beyond the basic property that we humans exploit for our amusement, is what water is, or is what the root element is. The problem, therefore, with knowing what we don't know is that anything that we know is already expressed in the realm of knowledge. So unknown is unknown and will remain unknown. And this natural state is a state of not knowing, when we don't box or separate. That was what Yuji was. Thought, knowledge, and memory are a residual of whatever there may be or whatever was there, because it might as well have all happened. Only then we are able to reflect or read the memory or gather the knowledge. So we are foraging for that nothing, because once it is all said and done, there would be nothing for us as humans, because we don't know what we don't know, and that is what is behind the creation. Yuji had said that it will be the end of us if we witness that. Now, Yuji never resisted this natural state transition in him from, the common man to the existing, or whatever state he was in. We, on the other hand, constantly play the game of life, while Yuji was kicked out and he didn't regret or try to get back in the game like the rest of us. We constantly try to stand included in the game and analyze every action so as to keep going. There is no other way for us. We have to survive in this society. Imagine Yuji letting go of everything he owned, stood for, or was skilled at. It is really scary. More scarier than you going homeless. And my husband was analyzing that state. And we came to a conclusion that it is all about coherence and sequence for us. The so-called normal lot, which is us. I told him about a weird thing I noticed. I had a dream a few nights ago, and it was very cliche sort of dream where I was trapped in another dimension and I could see my daughter standing right in front of me, and I was screaming for her to help me, but she couldn't hear me. And I have seen this in countless movies. A recent one was The Black Phone or something. However, in my dream I was terrified. I literally woke up, and a random thought came to my mind when I woke up, that my basement window is open. I went and checked, and sure enough, it was open. Anyway, in the morning, I was narrating this dream to my husband, and I witnessed myself putting my incoherent and non-sequential dream events in sequence for him. That blew me away. I was like, what am I doing? That's not how the dream came to me. It could have happened in a split second, all at once. It made enough impact that I woke up, subduing my screen. But it was not in sequence. That much I remembered. Perhaps our dream is never sequential, but the thought process is always in sequence, building events in a structured way. Unless we put it coherently, we don't understand it. A crazy person is the opposite of us. Maybe they are processing events all at once, and that's why they are so agitated. And communication is just so crippled that we can only put one thing at a time in words, and that's why we have to, put it in a sequence and in a line and take it one by one. That's why I was trying to build a story around my dream. so that my husband would understand, making it appear sensical when it was totally nonsensical in normal human terms. And Yuji's natural state was all at once state, everything all at once. But we as normal people can't experience life without the sequence building, and that is uber sad, as we are then expressing a deception in the name of creation when there might as well be nothing. Well, until next time, this is BB Flower signing off. Bye-bye.